Good morning. It is January the 3rd, 2018, our second trading day of the year. And we had a pretty good one yesterday. As far as the markets were concerned, we had enough volatility to work with. Even though European banks were closed, Japanese banks were closed. So hopefully today we'll have good volatility too. That's what it's all about. That's what we need as a day trader. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under overcompensated for the impact of any of certain market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they're designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. Well, we had a trend day down yesterday, especially apparent in the 30-year, the 10-year never because of the knob spread, and about 35% of the volatility of the 30-year doesn't show as much, but it was straight down. And today we've come back up. So again, when you take a look at the map of the previous activity, it's got the look of a trading range. So our first little bit of resistance right up here, we got this high at 28, 29. We've got this low at 26.5. We've got the buck. We've got a high at 03, 04. So we have two little bands of resistance. First starts at 28. Second basically starts at the buck. I think we can go a little bit higher. I think we are going to have a trading range. We can see right up here this high. Would like to sell 31s if at all possible. Then 3 to 7 for sell number 2. On the buy side, 17 to 21 buy 1. 9 to 13 buy 2. We have news today. Motor vehicle sales, same as last month, 17.5. That's a pretty healthy number. Gives the manufacturers lots of money to incentivize their sale of new automobiles. ISM manufacturing 58, a very strong number, could come in higher than forecast. ISM manufacturing prices 64.8, even stronger. Perhaps some inflation is built in. Construction spending plus 0.6%. I think we actually last month we actually beat that number. And FOMC minutes. Right now, the Fed in their guidance have said 3 interest rate increases in 2018. The minutes will be combed to see if it may be 4. So the news focus will be 58, even for the ISM manufacturing. Motor vehicle sales dribble in, so it's hard to see that they have much impact on the market. Construction spending, don't think anybody pays any attention to that. So FOMC, which comes late in the day, would be the second news focus. Well, basketball had to have been popular this past week, as cold as it's been everywhere. Even in some of the bowl games, you saw people having to put on fleece or sweatshirts, the southern ones. Been really cold here. Okay, resistance 8 to 12, number 1. 15.19, sell 1. 23.27, sell 2. And again, it's kind of structurally out there selling against 153 would be the structural trade. Limit sell against this high volume number. A limit sell at 24 would be another way to look at it. A limit sell against the high volume number right here. That would be at 22. So 22 and higher, we should start to see some pretty good structural selling. We're a ways away from that. On the buy side, 24 to 28, number one. Buy 17 to 21, buy one. 9 to 13, buy two. That would get us stops below yesterday's lows. Trend day down. What do we expect the next day? A pause day. What's the bias? It will remain lower without a major piece of news. Perhaps some support on the potential conflicts or problems in Iran. That revolution should, the simplest solution to Iran getting the bomb and intercontinental missiles to put them on would be to change the attitude or change the orientation of Iran's leadership. And when dictatorships are under pressure, it's always the threat of outside war. I think they've played that card too many times in Iran. So right now the people are protesting about the lack of opportunity, the lack of food, and the cost of everything. So it has a chance to continue. Yesterday we talked about how this 1320 was the low volume number and was potential resistance. The market went to 23. Started in Globex. The Asian high is 1940, so 19s to 21s sell 1. 23, 25 sell 2. On the buy side, a limit buy right here at 16. A limit buy at 14. So we'll make stops below 15. We'll make 13 to 15 buy 1. We'll kind of split that. And 9 to 11 buy 2. Euro ran into selling last night, if memory serves me correctly. Top of value basically held. So we had a 15 to 25 sell last night. The high was 121.19, so we caught the edge of that, and you had through Asia market to get that trade on. We had a buy last night at 80 to 90, and we haven't gotten down there. Well, actually, this 80 to 90 area we did get there, then it was 50 to 60. So we'll make 50 to 60. Let them get stops below that number. Buy 1. 25 buy 2. I'd be retesting this breakout right there. On the sell side, we spilled from 85, so we'll make 75 to 85, sell 1. That's very, very aggressive. And then 121 even, sell 2. Crude oil. Again, I don't think you'll, I think what we'll face is a reluctant seller. The Gulf of Hormuz, if memory serves me correctly, I think it's about 14 miles wide. It is a choke point. They can't stop the oil flowing through the Persian Gulf. They don't have the power to do that. But they can interrupt it for a week or 2 weeks or something like that as the Allies and the rest of the world came in there and opened the Straits of Hormuz back up. And so There's that premium, and I mean, you just don't know what's gonna go on. I don't know how much Iran exports, but it's probably pretty close to 1.5 million barrels per day, maybe higher. I haven't checked those numbers, so right now we're close enough to 61 to get stops above it. So a 61, 61 and a quarter would be the first sell zone. A 60.98 would be a limit sell. And then we would play 50 to 75 for sell 2. The breakout came from 75. We're there. So 50 to 75. Get long to retest the highs. Go for stops above 61 would be buy 1. And then 60 to 60 and a quarter would be buy 2. 61. Probably pretty good resistance. It's been a while since we've been there. Somebody will take profits against it. Trading community, and the trading community will lay some shorts in there just to see what happens. Okay, the Emini poised to take out 2,700. I can't see it not happening today, but it may not happen. The high, we did make a new high by a tick, 98.75. So stops above 27. The play, 94.96 by 1. That idea, 90.92 by 2. It's okay to sell failure to take out and hold, 2,700. 2704, 2706, sell 2. News this morning: motor vehicle sales 17.5. Comes at 10 Eastern. ISM manufacturing 58 could come in higher than forecast. Manufacturing prices 64.8. That could come in higher than forecast, but people won't trade that number. They'll trade that number. Construction spending plus 0.6. Then the FOMC minutes at 2. That could certainly cause a reaction. So the news focus will be here. Then technical resistance at 2,700. We had 2,700 today in our call program. Roll your 2,700 calls to 2,725 calls. J.P. Morgan is calling for 3,000 before this is over. Obviously, it won't happen in a day, but the information being put out at Wall Street for 2018 is buy stocks, and the institutions are. I'm going to take a bet to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. Back as soon as possible.